Hey everybody, it's Witchy, and it has been a hot minute. It's been quite a while since I last uploaded. A lot of things has happened. I don't know if you can tell, but I got my nose pierced. Super excited about that, and I'm going to be getting my next tattoo soon, hopefully. I have had an eventful couple months. I think the last time I posted was, what did I say, October? It might have been November, around there somewhere. A lot has happened since then, and a lot will continue to happen, which is really great. Anyway, I wanted to come back to the whole YouTube scene with something that's great, big, and everybody's been doing it so far because it is officially 2022. It is a new year, which, I'm excited about, but also not really excited about. Sorry. I'm excited because it's a new year, new things can happen, and I have a lot planned for this year. So I'm super excited about that. And one of those things is 2020's most anticipated books that I would like to read. My most anticipated books. There's quite a lot. I think there's like maybe around 40, maybe. And I have the list here. Sorry, I have a list here that I'm going to be reading off of. And the descriptions are a little, I tried to make them not too descriptive because I want you guys to be able to discover them for yourself, some of them have a lot, and some of them don't. The ones that don't, I just felt, I try to stop at the point where I felt like was enough for you guys to know about, like, one of the first books and stuff. And I have a couple categories. I have thriller, I have contemporary, thriller slash mystery, I have fantasy, and then I have YA and contemporary. So that's exciting. Sorry if you can hear my mouse. I am going to be reading off the list here over here. So that's going to be super fun. And I guess we'll go ahead and just jump right into it. So the first category we have is thriller slash mystery, because I know that most of the time thrillers and mysteries can like collide together. And the first book is The Book of Cold Cases. And this is by Simone St. James. And it's supposed to be coming out on, I want to say March 15, 2022. And this is exciting because it's a book about a true crime blogger who gets more than she bargained for while interviewing a woman who was like acquainted for two of the cold case slayings. And she goes in there and she's like, whoa, there's a lot happening here. And I think it seems exciting. The book cover looks amazing. I really am into, cold cases because, there's a reason why they go cold, because then they never get solved. And it's amazing that like cold cases are able to be reopened and still worked on nowadays, because it's important that we solve these types of problems, these cases, because it's important, and it's important for the family to be able to get closure, and overall it's just really great. The second book is Survivor's Guilt. It is about a trans Robin Gigi, I think it's Gigi, and it's supposed to come out on January 25th, 2022. I'm super excited. Lawyer, I believe, legal lawyer, and it says Erin McCabe returns in a fascinating and timely legal thriller that devolves into the dark world of human trafficking by the rich and powerful. And honestly, that I always kind of like legal thriller because it's interesting because these are real world things that happen in real life, like human trafficking. Obviously, it happens all the time, and a book that deals with that is really great. And I like the fact that it's about a trans character. About that, I got super into the entrance for that because like I said, it's supposed to be about a trans character who is, and it's amazing. Like we don't have very many books about trans characters or LGBTQ people. You know what I mean? And there's a few on here that I think I have that is it's just great. I wish I could read more about it. And I'm starting it off hopefully strong. And the third book in this category is A Flicker in the Dark by Stacey Willingham. This is supposed to be January the 11th, 2022. I say these dates because these are the dates that I got off of whatever website that I was able to find, which was a few good ones off Goodread and a few other sites that were thankfully correct and all this stuff, because I try to find rare to skier and big name ones. But anyway, most of these are also debut books. A lot of these are debut books. So it's exciting. Anyway, this story is about Chloe Davis, when she was 12. Six teenage girls went missing in her small Louisiana town. By the end of the summer, her own father had confessed the crimes and was put away for life, leaving Chloe and the rest of her family to grapple with the truth and try to move forward while dealing with the aftermath. That is wild. I'm sure there's books out there that are like that, where the main character is related to the person who's a serial killer or the person who had done a crime. That's fascinating to me. And it's about her, like, I guess her going through it and living it all, figuring it out, which is great. If you have more books like that, like, let me know. Like, tell me what they are so I can read them. But that one just seems really interesting. I can't wait for that one. A Road of Bones, which is number 4. Number 4 is Road of Bones by Christopher Golden. That is, once again, January 25th, 2022. And I love the cover for this. This cover looks amazing. Surrounded by barren trees in a snow-covered wilderness with a dim, dusty sky forever overhead, Siberia's Kolyma Highway is 1,200 miles of gravel-packed permafrost within a driving distance of the Arctic Circle. A narrow path where drivers face such challenging conditions as icy surfaces, limited visibility, and an average temperature of 60 degrees below zero, fatal car accidents are common. I felt like that was a good stopping point for the synopsis of the story, because it gets into like what happens. And if you would love to read The Road of Bones, look it up. Christopher Golden. It's coming out on the 25th, which I am excited for. This sounds like such a great book. I'm into those kind of like tragedy thriller kind of things, like people getting not necessarily people getting lost in like forests and stuff, but people who have to do situations that are like, hey, I'm stuck out in the snow and I don't have any way of, like, I gotta figure out how I'm gonna survive kind of thing. And it's kind of like one of these things, which is really cool. And then we have number 5, The Red Canoe. This is by Wayne Johnson, and it's coming out February 15th, 2022. Buck, a government name Michael Faraday. Oh Lord, I don't want to mess this word up, but an Ojibwe named Mwiska Doden, which is Red Deer, has just been served divorce papers by his wife Naomi, who is fed up with his savior complex and the danger it is often attracts to the door, and is now on the brink of the S word, of unaliving himself. I read a little bit more into it. It looks and sounds amazing. It's about there's another character in there, and they kind of go together. But I think the main story is about Buck himself, and I like the little book cover for it. It looks amazing. So number 6, This Might Hurt by Stephanie Warble. That comes out on February 22nd of 22. Natalie Cowlins hasn't heard from her sister in more than half a year. The last time they spoke, Kit was slogging from mundane workdays to obligatory happy hours to crying in the shower about their dead mother. She told Natalie she was sure there was something more out there, and then she found Wisewood. This story is kind of about a cult. It's not kind of about, it is about a cult. And I'm interested in this because I don't read a lot of books that involve cult people. I remember a few times I would read them, and of course I read that back in middle school when it's kind of weird to be reading those kind of books when you're a middle schooler, but I still did. I read it. This Might Hurt seems like it's a really good one. I read a little bit into the rest of the synopsis for it, and I'm excited. I really am. If you're into that kind of thing, this would be great. Hopefully. And then we have The Resting Place by Camellia Steen, or Sten, something like that. I'm sorry if I mess it up. This is coming out March 29th, 2022. Eleanor lives with prosophagia. Yes. The inability to recognize a familiar person's face. It causes stress, acute anxiety. It can make you question what you think you know. When Eleanor walked in on the scene of her capriciously cruel grandmother, Vivian's murder, she came face to face with the killer. A maddening expression that means nothing to someone like her. That description itself sounds amazing. This is the kind of like story that's like fresh and new, and I don't know if it's never not been done before, but this seems like it's never been done before, which is amazing because, you know, if this is like, it's a real disease. People have this, and it's nice to see, you know, someone, I don't know if it's going to be represented great. Hopefully it will, like all the other books that are, you know, that has that in there, like the Red Canoe and the Cyber's Guilt. I'm hoping that they are good. I'm assuming they're good. I'm assuming that the author had properly did their research and properly worked on it. But I like the idea of it being, I saw what happened, but I can't make out who it is, kind of thing. And obviously it's going to go through her story about her figuring it out, all this good stuff, and how she deals with this stuff. So then we have number 8, Dig Two Graves by Gretchen McNeil. This is also coming out on March the 29th, 2022. 17-year-old film noir fan, Neve Lanier, is a girl who just wants to be seen, but doesn't really fit in anywhere. When Neve is betrayed by her best friend, Yasmin, at the end of the school year, she heads off to a girls' empowerment camp, feeling like no one will ever love her again. So when she grabs the attention of the beautiful, charismatic Diane, she falls right under her spell and may accidentally promise to murder Diane's pregnatory stepbrother, Javier, in exchange for Diane murdering Yasmin. But that was just a joke, right? Wrong. That sounds interesting. I like the idea of it being like, this girl, she just wants to fit in. She just wants to be part of, you know, whatever. She wants to just be... Sorry, people still firing off fireworks. She wants to be part of that. And she ends up getting into a situation that she's like, whoa, hey, I didn't really want to be in this situation, but here she is in this situation. And it's good to see how she kind of like gets out of that, I guess. Just the synopsis alone sounds amazing. And honestly, I really like the way the cover art looks. I can't wait to see this. And then this one is kind of like a young adult mystery thriller kind of thing. It's called Cold, and it's by Mariko Tamaki. And it's about Todd Mayer. He is dead. And now a ghost hovering over his body, recently discovered in a snow-covered park, naked and frozen. As detectives investigate Todd's homicide, talking to the very people linked to the events leading to his death, Todd replays the choice that led him to his end. Georgia didn't know Todd, but ever since she heard about his death, she can't stop thinking about him. Maybe because they're both outcast at their school, or maybe because they're both queer. Love it. Once again, hopefully good representation. The cover for this looks amazing. At first, I thought it was going to be like a graphic novel. There was a few graphic novels on there, and I was like, oh, that's great. I don't mind reading graphic novels. Like, heck yeah. But then I realized it was like a novel, and I was like, ooh, awesome. Great cover, novel, heck yes. And the premise and the concept sound amazing. And I'm like, even I want to know what the heck happened to this kid. And it, you know, continues on about how she's searching to see what happens to him. And it talks about how he is living like as a ghost. And then for number 10, we have For Come Back. Before, when I was first looking this up, it didn't have a cover art, which, you know, wild. And then as I looked down to Barnes & Noble, because I was looking for a synopsis for this, I saw that it did. So I was like, ooh, this looks amazing. Anyway, it's called For Came Back by Chelsea Sidilty. This is coming out on July 5th, 2022. And it says, The Breakfast Club meets the usual suspects in this riveting YA mystery told entirely through the first-person police interviews of 4 teens over the course of the several hours that ask what happened at Salvation Creek, an influencer, an overachiever, a heartthrob, and an outcast, and a conspiracy theorist go into the woods for a camping trip at Salvation Creek. Sometime around midnight, one of them vanishes. That sounds awesome. I like that kind of thing, and it's like over police interviews, which is cool because, like, you know, you don't get the full story, but you also do get the full story kind of thing. It sounds cool. I don't know. I like the cover art. And then we have 2 more for this category. We have 11, End of the World House, which is by Andrevine Kelt. And this is coming out April 19th, 2022. It says, Groundhog Day meets Ling Ma's Survivance and the End of the World House, a thought-provoking comedic novel about 2 young women trying to save their friendship as the world collapses around them. I like it because when I read a little bit further into the synopsis, I guess I could just go ahead and say it a little bit. One of the characters kind of makes it to where the other character cannot leave her. Like she can't move. They get trapped or something. And then they have to kind of deal with that situation together. And it's one of those things where it's okay to let things go, kind of thing. I can't wait to read this. But getting to read something like that would be amazing. And I also kind of like the cover art. The cover art looks beautiful. And the 12th one is Hide, which is, by the way, this is one of the ones that I'm like most excited for. It's called Hide, and it's by Kirsten White, and it's coming out May 24th, 2022. And it says, a high-stakes hide-and-seek competition turns deadly in this dark supernatural thriller from the New York Times best-selling author Kirsten White. The challenge: spend a week hiding in an abandoned music park and don't get caught. The prize: enough money to change everything. Who doesn't like hide and seek? I like hide and seek, even as an adult. And an abandoned amusement park? Yes, sign me up. This also reminded me of another book that was kind of like a competition, and it just seems so interesting. The cover looks great. I honestly can't wait. I cannot wait for this story. Okay, so now we're going to get into fantasy. Fantasy kind of falls under a lot. There's high fantasy, there's fantasy YA, but just fantasy in general, I guess, like whatever's in the fantasy general area. Same with the YA section. I do have that too. So this one is The Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Su Lin Tan. This is coming out January 11th, 2022. And it says, a captivating debut fantasy inspired by the legend of the Chinese moon goddess Chang'e, in which a young woman quests to free her mother, pits her against the most powerful immortal in the realm, and sets her on a dangerous path where choices come from with deadly consequences, and she risks losing more than her own heart. Amazing. I love stories that have mythology mixed into it, and her being kind of like the daughter of Chang'e sounds amazing because, you know, there's never really something like that, and it's like a new, fresh telling of it, I guess. Kind of like Rick Riordan's stories. I love those. I actually have several of his stories that I need to finish and start new ones because he does have some new ones coming in. But I love the idea. I love the story. I love the mythology. And I'm excited for it. I'm ready to just, you know, there's a few on here that's kind of like that. Love it. I can't wait. The Kaiju Preservation Society by John Skolsky. I hope I said that his name right. And that's coming out in March 15th, 2022. When the pandemic sweeps through New York City, Jamie Gray is stuck as a dead-end driver for food delivery apps. That is, until Jamie makes a delivery to an old acquaintance, Tom, who works at what he calls an animal rights organization. Tom's team leads a last-minute grunt to handle things on their own in the next field visit. Jamie, eager to do anything, immediately signs on. When Tom doesn't tell Jamie that his animals his team cares for are not what are here on the Earth, not our Earth, at least, alternate dimension, massive dinosaur-like creatures named Kaiju roam a warm, human-free world. The universe's largest and most dangerous panda, and they're in trouble. I love this. I love anything with kaiju, like Godzilla, King Kong, you know, anything like that. Like, that's amazing. And the fact that there's a story like this out there, like, I like how like they flip it on its head, where it's not that there's abundance of them, they're coming to take over and everything, but they are the creatures that are endangered, and they're trying to keep them, you know, from going extinct. That's amazing, and I cannot wait to read this book. Her book is The Bone Orchid by Sarah A. Mueller. I love the art for this. I like the book cover. I think there's an alternative one for this, and but I like this one, the one that I picked. It says, Sarah A. Mueller's The Bone Orchid is a fascinating whodunit set in a lush Gothic world of secrets and magic, where a dying emperor charges for his favorite concubine with solving his own murder and preventing the culprit, which undoubtedly is one of his 3 terrible sons, from taking control of an empire. Amazing. I like it because it's one of those things where it's like it's a mystery thriller, and it's set in a Gothic world, and it has magic in it, and it's just so fresh. It's new. You know what I mean? And I would love to know who the murderer is, kind of thing. Just reading the synopsis. So that's amazing. I can't wait for that one. I'm trying to keep this from being too long. I'm sorry. 4. What Moves the Dead? By T. Kingfisher. This is supposed to come out July 12th, 2022. From T. Kingfisher, the award-winning author of The Twisted Ones, which I need to read, comes What Moves the Dead, a gripping and atmospheric retelling of Edgar Allan Poe's classic The Fall of the House of Usher. Edgar Allan Poe, which I would love to read all of his other books too. I'm thinking about getting them this year. The cover art for this, amazing. Oh, amazing. And the fact that just knowing that this is based off of an Edgar Allan Poe, it's gonna be great. I just already know it. And if it's not, then of course, but I'm excited for it. Number 5, How High We Go in the Dark, by, oh Lord, I don't want to mess up her name. Sequoia Nagamatsu. This is supposed to come out in January 18th, 2022. And it says, by the way, I love this concept. Sorry, I'm just going to bring it up now, but I'm going to go ahead and read a little bit of a big excerpt from it. It says, in 2030, a grieving archaeologist arrives in the Arctic Circle to continue the work of his recently deceased daughter at the Batagai crater. The researchers are studying long-buried secrets now revealed in the melting permafrost, including the perfect preservation remains of a girl who appears to have died of an ancient virus. Once unleashed, the Arctic plague will reshape life on Earth for generations to come, quickly traversing the globe, forcing humanity to devise a myriad of moving and innovative ways to embrace possibility in the face of a tragedy. If that doesn't sound like what's going on currently, I don't know what is. That's another thing. Another story that is pretty much basically like, the pandemic, that thing. That's amazing. Something that's like, it's discovered way in the future, and the moment it's discovered, it just has an immediate impact on everybody around them. And this story goes around with a few other characters. It starts with the archaeologist. I think it goes to a mom who's trying to survive. It looks amazing. I love the cover art for it. Just, if you're into this kind of thing, and if you're interested in it, then yes, read it. Number 6, Wild and Wicked Things, by Francisca May. This is coming out March 29th, 2022. In the aftermath of World War I, a naive woman is swept into the griddling world filled with dark magic, romance, and murder in this lush, decadent, desiccant debut. Amazing. I like the concept that it's set in the 1920s, 1930s, around that area. And it has magic in it. And it's kind of like I want to say sapphic love story. I'm almost certain it has 2 female characters that happen to fall in love with each other, which is great. Hopefully, I don't know. I only read a few things. I read a little bit about it, and it looks great. I think it looks great. I can't wait for it. I just hope that it does good. Same time, it seems great. And then we have number 7, Wrath Goddess Sing. There wasn't a date that's supposed to come out for this just yet. It's just supposed to come out in 2022. It's by Maya Dean. This, another one that I cannot wait for. It says, drawing an ancient text and modern archaeology to reveal the trans woman's story hidden underneath the well-known myths of the Iliad. Maya Dean's Wrath Goddess Sing weaves a compelling, pitiless, beautiful vision of Achilles' vanished world, perfect for fans of Song of Achilles and the Inheritance trilogy. I read the Song of Achilles, or the Inheritance trilogy. Definitely something I want to do. I definitely want to read those stories. So I'm thinking, by the time this book comes out, I should be able to get and read these other 2 books, which I love the art, and it's another one about trans, it's amazing. But yes, I'm excited. And then this is the 8th and last one for fantasy, and it's called The City of Dusk by Tara Sim, March 22, 2022. The dark epic fantasy follows the heirs of 4 noble houses, each gifted with a divine power, as they form a tenacious alliance to keep their kingdom from descending into a realm of shattering war. Awesome already, starting off strong. I actually really like the cover art for this. This looks amazing. I'm excited for it. I like these kind of stories where it's like a bunch of people have to come together, which sounds Sorry, I think it's raining. Sounds great. I can't wait for it. Contemporary. We're getting into the contemporary. I personally do not read contemporary. There's a few books that I might have that are contemporary, but I think that this is the year that I start getting more into them. And I'm excited for it. I'm ready for it. Okay, so the first one is called Black Cake by Caramine Wickerson. This is coming out February 1st, 2022. In this moving debate novel, two estranged siblings must set aside their difference to deal with their mother's death and her hidden past. A journey of discovery that takes them from Caribbean to London to California and ends with her famous black cake. They have to discover, like, hey, who was our mom? And I love that. Like, journeys together to figure something out, family coming together, and, there being, like, a family thing that always brings them together. Sounds great. The cover art looks amazing, and I'm ready for it. Number 2, which is Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover, January 19th, 2022. After serving 5 years in prison for a tragic mistake, Kenna Rowan returns to her town where all went wrong, hoping to reunite with her 4-year-old daughter, but the bridges Kenna burned are proving impossible to rebuild. Everyone in her daughter's life is determined to shut Kenna out, no matter how hard she works to prove herself. Amazing. There's some more a little bit in there that talks about her meeting up with somebody who potentially is, is related to her daughter in some way. And I don't know, I'm excited for the story. And I'm hoping it's going to be good. Third one is The Roughest Draft by Emily Wibberley and Austin Sigmund Boroka. This is coming out January 22nd, 2022. 3 years ago, Katrina Freeling and Nathan Von Heusen were the brightest literary stars on the horizon. Their co-written book topping bestseller list. But on the heels of their greatest success, they ended their partnership on bad terms, for reasons neither would divulge to the public. They haven't spoken since and never plan to, except they have one final book due on contract. I like this kind of stories where it's like two people, they are like, they're gone. They don't want to talk to each other anymore. They don't want to do this, but they have to come back for one specific reason. This one I could probably read. This sounds interesting. And I'm ready for it. I am excited. So the fourth one is Not the Witch You Wed. Ooh, wow. Not the Witch You Wed by Abel Asher. This is coming out February 8th, 2022. A fake relationship between a magic-less witch and a wolf shifter turns to warn the start of a bewitching new paranormal rom-com series. Sounds amazing, obviously. I like those kinds of stories that have relations where it's like, oh, we're in a fake relationship. Oh, suddenly we're falling in love with each other. I kind of like that. I won't lie. I'm a little bit of a sucker for those kind of things, but only if the characters I feel deserve to be together, kind of thing. Like, I don't know. I have obviously read it, but a magicless witch and a wolf shifter sounds amazing. Great. As Seen on TV by Meredith Score. This is coming out June 7th, 2022. Sounds great. It says the fans of a Hallmark Channel and Gilmore Girls will adore this delightful rom-com about a city girl who goes to search in a small town happiness, only to discover life and love are nothing like the TV movies. Which is so true. It is so relatable, I guess, because obviously life and love and stuff like that, it is not like how it is in the movies. And everybody, even me, I won't lie, I want it to be like the movies, but I know it's not. So this seems great. And also it's called As Seen on TV. Iconic. So then we have 6, Starry-Eyed Love, which is by Helena Hunting. Supposed to be coming out May 10th, 2022. Having just broke up with her boyfriend, London Spark is not in the mood to be hit on, especially not when she's out celebrating her single status with her sisters. So when a very attractive man pays for her drinks and then slips her his number, she passes it right back to him with a thanks but no thanks. As the business administrator for the family's event hotel, the Spark House, London has more important things to worry about, like bringing in new clientele. As luck would have it, a multi-million-dollar company calls a few months later asking for a meeting, a discussion to discuss a potential partnership. London is eager to prove to her sisters and herself that she can land this deal. Just when she thinks she's nailed her presentation, the company's CEO, Jackson Holt, walks in and inserts himself into the meeting. Not only that, but he also happens to be the same guy she turned down at the bar a few months ago. Sorry, I think that was one of the longest ones that had synapses. But just the whole thing was just like, how funny is that? I saw it coming a mile away and I was excited for it. I was like, oh, yes. Give me one of these stories. Give me. And I won't lie. I'm excited for it. And then we have 2 more stories. And then we're moving on to YA. We have number 7, Motel, which 2022 by Penelope Douglas. This book has nothing on it yet. I just felt like this was going to be a good book. Like the cover looks great. I mean, that's not probably the official cover. There's probably going to change. But just Motel. You know what I mean? Like, what's going to happen in this? It's a contemporary. I'm excited for it. Whatever it's going to be, I don't know. I'm just ready for it. And number 8, which is Night Work by Nora Roberts. This is coming out on March 24, 2022. I'm not too big of a Nora Roberts fan. I've only read a few books of hers. I know my grandma. I'm almost certain my grandma loves her. And I'm ready for it. You know, I don't know why. So here it is. Harry Booth started stealing at 9 to keep a roof over his ailing mother's head, slipping into luxurious empty homes at night to find items he could trade for precious cash. When his mother finally succumbed to cancer, he left Chicago, but kept up his night work. Wandering from Outer Banks to Savannah to New Orleans, he dons on new identities and stays careful, observant, and distant. He can't afford He can't afford to attract attention or get attached. Still, he can't help letting his guard down when he meets Miranda Emerson. But the powerful bond between them cannot last, because not all thieves follow Harry's code of honor. Some pay others to take risks so they can hoard more for their treasures. Some are driven by desire to own people the way that they own paintings and jewels. And after Harry takes on a lucrative job commissioned by a Carter Laporte sees a tool he can use and decides he wants to own Harry, which, by the way, yikes, gross, but I like the concept. I just kind of would like to see how the story ends. It's by Nora Roberts, obviously, and I'm excited for it. I really am. Okay, so now we are going to go into YA. Now, there is quite a few here. Actually, I counted them. For now, it's like 14 here, but that's okay. We're going to get through them, and I'm going to try to go a little faster so that this video isn't as long as it has been. So for the YA, we have the first one, It Will End Like This by Kyra Lee. Leah? I'm pretty sure it's Lee. This comes out January 4th, 2022. The cover for this looks amazing, by the way, but the synopsis is, Charlotte lost her mother 6 months ago, and still no one will tell her exactly what happened the day she mysteriously died. They say her heart stopped, but Charlotte knows deep down that there is more to the story. The only person who gets it is Charlotte's sister, Maddie. Maddie agrees. People's heart just don't stop. There are too many questions left unanswered for the girls to move on. I can't wait for this story to come out. I really can't. So number 2, A Far Wilder Magic by Alison Schatt. This is supposed to come out March 8th, 2022. A romantic YA fantasy perfect for the fans of Aaron A. Craig and Margaret Gregerson. About 2 people who find themselves competing for glory in each other's hearts in a magical fox hunt. Amazing. I like those kind of things where it's like the world is evolved around this magic thing that they have to do, and these 2 people come together to obviously get what this is so they can get win the money for the competition. The cover art looks amazing, and the concept is just so great. Same with this one. The third book, which is Belladonna by Adeline Grace, August 23rd, a day before my birthday, 2022. 19-year-old Signa Farrow, orphaned as a baby, has been raised by a string of guardians, each more interested in her wealth than her well-being, and each has more an untimely end. Her last remaining relatives are the Hawthorns, an eccentric family living at the glittering and gloomy estate of Thorn Grove. Thorngrove's patriarch, Elijah, mourns his late wife, Lillian, through wild parties and drink, while eldest son, Percy, grapples for control of the family's waiting repetition, and daughter, Bethleen, suffers from the same mysterious illness that killed her mother. And when Lillian's spirit confronts Cigna and claims she was poisoned, Cigna realizes that Blythe could be next to die. Awesome. Obviously, I miss the concept of it being like, hey, I know that all these other people who've taken care of you have just suddenly died, but obviously there's something going on here. Please, like, look into this and don't let my daughter die. Like, that's amazing. Like, it kind of so number 4 is The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea, by Axie O, February 2nd, 2022. Deadly storms have ravaged Mina's homeland for generations. Floods sweep away entire villages, while bloody wars are waged over the raw remaining sources. Her people believe the sea god wants their protector and now curses them with death and despair. In an attempt to appease him, each year a beautiful maiden is thrown into the sea to serve as the sea god's bride, in the hopes that one day the true bride will be the chosen and end the suffering. Many believe that Shin Cheong, the most beautiful girl in the village, and the beloved of Mina's older brother June, may be the legendary true bride. But on the night Cheong is to be sacrificed, June follows Cheong out to the sea, even knowing that the interference is death sentence. To save her brother, Mina throws herself into the water in Cheong's stead. Amazing. This is about obviously Shin Cheong, Chinese mythology. It's kind of like her story, but like expanded upon. Obviously this character sacrifices herself so that her brother can have his love, and I love the concept. I adore the cover art. The cover art looks amazing. Some of these cover arts look great, and it's just something I'm ready to read, you know what I mean? So number 5, The Kindred, by I don't want to mess this name up, Alicia Dahl, which is supposed to be January 4th, 2022. Joy Abra knows her place, a commoner from the lovely planet Halley. She lives a simple life, apart from the notoriety of being the kindred to the nobility's most infamous playboy, Breeks. Duke Felix Hamid has a plan. He will exasperate his noble family to the point that they agree to let him choose his own future and finally meet his kindred face to face. Then the royal family is assassinated, putting Felix next in line for the throne and accused of the murders. Someone will stop at nothing until he's dead, which means they'll target Joy too. Amazing. Sorry, already just blown away. I'm excited because it's one of those you're tied to somebody kind of thing, like your soulmate. That's your soulmate. You know what I mean? I actually have a story I'm writing. Still kind of getting the kinks out, but it's kind of like the red string of fate. Anyway, I'm excited for it because it's going to be, I don't know what that was. It's going to be action packed. It's going to be lovers, like destined lovers, you know, and they're obviously, because they're going to be targeting her, they have to work together to keep themselves protected and everything. It sounds amazing. The art looks beautiful too. And Magic Steeped in Poison, also another cover art that looks beautiful, by Judy Eilen, coming out March 29th, 2022. For Lynn, for Ning, the only thing worse than losing her mother is knowing that it's her own fault. She was the one who unknowingly brewed the poison tea that killed her. The poison tea that now threatens to take her sister's Shu. When Ning hears of a competition to find the kingdom's greatest Xiongxi, masters of an ancient and magical art of tea making, she travels to the imperial city to compete. The winner will receive a favor from the princess, which may be Ning's only chance to save her sister's life. But between the backstabbing competitors, bloody court politics, and a mysterious and handsome boy with a shocking secret, Ning might actually be the one in more danger. I love this concept of it being like, it's a new story, it's new, I love it. Tea making, like, awesome. There's a competition involved. I think it's based also off of Chinese, kind of around there. And it just, the story itself sounds amazing. It sounds new and it sounds fresh, which is something I'm kind of always looking for. And I love the cover and everything that is involved with it. Anyway, number 7, Out of the Blue by Jason June. This is supposed to come out May 31st, 2022. This is exciting because I love the cover for this. Anyway, so it says Crest is not excited to be on their journey, the month-long sojourn on land all teen merfolk must undergo. The rules are simple: help a human within one moon cycle and return to the Pacifica to become an elder, or fail and remain stuck on land forever. Crest is eager to get their journey over and done with. Humans are disgusting. They're polluted the planet so much that they're a floating island of trash that's literally the size of a country. In Los Angeles, with a human body and a new name, Crest meets Sean, a human lifeguard whose boyfriend has recently dumped him. Crest agrees to help Sean make his ex jealous and win him back. But as the two spend more time together and Crest's perspective on humans begin to change, they'll soon be torn between two worlds in a fake dating that just might lead to real feelings. Once again, I'm excited for the whole fake dating and having feelings for each other. Like, it's just a recipe waiting to happen. Anyway, the concept, love it. Flipping the head, merfolk having to come on land, like team merfolk having to come on land to just do the specific thing in order to become an elder. That's great. It's kind of like a rite of passage kind of thing. Just it sounds and feels great. Looks great. Then we have 1,000 Steps into the Night by Tracy G. This is also coming out March 1st, 2022. In the realm of Aura, where gods, monsters, and humans exist side by side, Miwako is an ordinary girl resigned to safe, if uneventful existence as an innkeeper's daughter. But when Miwako is cursed and begins to transform into a demon with a deadly touch, she embarks on a quest to reverse the curse and return her life to normal. Aided by a thieving magpie spirit and continuously thwarted by a demon prince, Miwako must outfox tricksters, escape demon hunters, and negotiate with the pharaoh gods if she wants to make it home again. But with her transformation comes power and freedom she's never dreamed of, and she'll have to decide if saving her soul is worth trying to cram herself back into an ordinary life that no longer fits her, and perhaps never did. Amazing. I love stories with demons and like people being transformed and changed, and just this specific thing, like, amazing. And like her being like, well, do I really want to go back to normal life? Like, obviously I want to, but like, do I have to, kind of thing. Like that. Just the story in general. And I want to know what the heck she did to get cursed. Like, what do you gotta do to be cursed, become into a demon? Like, what? Anyway, excited for it. The art looks amazing, and I can't wait. And then number 9, Violet Made of Thorns by Jenna Chen. This is July 26, 2022. Violet is a prophet and a liar, influencing a royal court with her cleverly phrased and not always true divination. Honesty is for suckers, like that oh-so-not charming Prince Cyrus, who plans to strip Violet of her official role once he's crowned at the end of the summer, unless Violet does something about it. But when the king asks her to falsely prophesy Cyrus's love story for an upcoming ball, Violet awakens a dreaded curse, one that will end either damnation or salvation for the kingdom, all depending on the prince's choice of a future bride. That sounds amazing. It's another one of those flipping the head, because like, I don't think I've ever read a book that has a character who's just like, I'm gonna lie and I'm gonna be out for my own self. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna do this for myself, not like, for everybody else. Like, obviously I want to stay this way. And then her having to like be influenced and have to say certain things, and she's just like, oh man, and then obviously the story is gonna turn because a curse. What? Crazy. How does that happen? Anyway, I'm excited for it. The art looks amazing. And Violet Made of Thorns, love it. And the 10th story, The Witchery by S. Isabel, 7 July 26, 2022. Hillsford, Florida is Hellmouth, or at least that's what Logan, a new witch struggling to control her powers, thinks. She arrives to begin the new school year as Miss Morte's Coven Academy. She's immediately taken under the wing of the infamous Red Three: Iris, a death witch who wants nothing more than to break the town's curse; Thalia, the talented green witch, is on the run from her religious family and a past that still haunts her; and Jalia is one of the most powerful witches at the academy, but her thirst for power may lead her down a dark path. When the hunting season approaches, wolves will rise soon in the swamp to kill. Humans and witches must work together to survive the yearly onslaught. And the stakes couldn't be higher as 2 boys from the Hammerset school prepare to make their first sacrifices to the witches in exchange for protection. But old dangers lie in wait, and costs to break the curse may be greater than any witch or human could ever know. Witches stories, love it. I actually have a witch story that I'm also writing. And this book reminds me of that. It also reminds me of the House of Night series, which I do plan on going over again. I plan on reading and talking about it because, like, you know what I mean? Anyway, exciting. I'm ready for it. The art looks great. Yeah, and here we go. Number 11. We All Fall Down by Rose Sabazo. Hopefully I said that right. June 7th, 2022. Cover art looks amazing. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Raven Boys, which I love the book. Anyway, in River City, where magic used to thrive and is now fading, the witches who once ruled the city, along with their powerful king, have all become obsolete. All but obsolete. The city's crumbling government is now controlled primarily by the new university and teaching hospital, which has grown to take over half the city. Moving between the decaying old city and the roofless new, 4 young queer people struggle with the daily hazardous life of work, school, and dodging ruthless cops and unscrupulous scientists, not realizing that they have been selected to play an age-old drama that revives the flow of magic through the world. But the mysterious death rocks their fragile peace, and the four are brought into each other's orbits as they uncover a deeper magical conspiracy. Love it. LGBTQ, magic, kids that have to run from, like, the law kind of thing. Like, I hope it's kind of like a found family. I'm sorry, I just thought about that. Found family stories are... Anyway, I love it. The art looks amazing, and I'm ready for it. I really am. All right, I'm gonna try to speed up so we can get past these. I'm sorry. Number 12, The Undead Truth of Us, by Brittany S. Lewis. August 9th, 2022. 16-year-old Zahari Young is absolutely certain her mother morphed into a zombie before her untimely death. But she can't seem to figure out why her mother had died and why her aunt doesn't want her around, why all the dreams she seems suddenly hopelessly out of reach, and why ever since that day she'd been seeing zombies everywhere. Then Beau moves into her apartment building, tall, skateboard in hand, freckles like stars, and an undeniable charm. Z wants nothing to do with him, but when he transforms into a half-zombie right before her eyes, something feels different. He contradicts everything she thought she knew about monsters, and she can't help but wonder if getting to know him might unlock the answers to her mother's death. As Zahari sifts through what's real and what's magic, she discovers a new truth about the world. Love can literally change you for good or for dead, which I love that concept. That concept sounds amazing. The art looks great. I want to know what she means by zombies. Like, does she mean, like, they look like zombies, they walk around like zombies, are they actually acting like zombies, or if there's just, like, metaphorical, you know what I mean? Like, I'm excited. I can't wait. 13 is Moth Girl. This one is probably one of the ones I'm, like, kind of more excited about the most, but this one just sounds great. The Moth Girl by Heather Kennans, March 8th, 2022. Anna is a regular teenage girl. She runs track with her best friend, gets good grades, and sometimes drinks beer at parties. But one day at track practice, Anna falls unconscious, but instead of falling down, she falls up, defying gravity and the disturbing first symptoms of a mysterious disease. This begins the trip to a series of trips to the hospital that soon becomes Anna's norm. She's diagnosed with lipidopathy, a rare illness that causes symptoms reminiscent of moths, floating, attraction to light, a craving for sugar, and, for an unlucky few, and more dangerous physical manifestations. Anna's world is turned upside down as she learns to cope with her illness. She finds herself drifting further and further away from her former life. Her friends don't seem to understand. Running track is out of the question. And the other kids at the disease clinic she attends once a week are a cruel reminder that things will never be the same. Amazing. That just sounds... It sounds so interesting. I can't wait for it, really. And then the cover for it looks beautiful, and just this concept for the story just sounds amazing. I cannot wait. I just can't. I can't. And the 14, which is the last book, Don't Go to Sleep by Bryce Moore, August 2nd, 2022. It's 1918, and World War I is in full swing, and an Spanish intelligence outbreak is on the horizon. In the midst of the chaos, families are being terrorized and people are being killed by a lone man with an axe. As Gina and her friend Jake investigate the heinous crimes, she realizes she's connected to the killer in a way she could never imagined. Once again, amazing. I like the concept. It kind of reminds me of the axe killer of New Orleans, and it's one of those things is like, I'm related to the killer, what kind of thing, like, oh, amazing, I want to know how she's related kind of thing. Anyway, this is exciting. These are the books that I'm excited for 2022, and I hope that I will be able to read them through the year. I'm going to make a list of all the books that I'm able to read from this list. I honestly can't wait to continue and continue this series. Overall excited. But until next time, I will see you guys. Bye.